Okay, so the left-hand one here now is kind of your start. And these are all the same sort of club, okay? Just moving across the board. So you can see the stance there, a little bit too narrow. It then got a bit wider. And that one's kind of sort of similar-ish kind of width there, okay? So your stance got a bit wider with these two on the right-hand side. This was your swing before. Very long, very kind of out of control-ish, I would say, and just the length, belt buckle aiming way back here, knees come across, 110-degree shoulder turn plus, so a big old movement, okay? Then after a bit of practice there, okay, we got it to there. So not too bad. There's daylight between your knees. That, I would say, for me, would have been a good spot to be with your lesson. But since then, a few more swings there, I haven't done the stuff with the impact bag, and I think having the wall there to kind of resist, that's where you got to.
Yeah.
So like the evolution of your kind of golf swing there now. Now again, even from a non-golfer, just looking at that one on the right looks a lot more stable to me now in terms of movement, okay?
You say legs still need to be a bit wider?
Potentially. I mean, I think at the moment there now, you're able to control that there now. And if you're comfortable with that swing length and you control it, you're coming back to the golf ball there now. So there's impact, the ball just about blurring there now. We've got a nice straight line between left arm, elbow, hands and club for the most part, okay?
So that's what you're saying about...
That's the shaft lean we want to get,
so
yeah?
rather than being...
Rather than scooping it, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
But then post-impact, as we get to about here, we want the club to match up back towards our belly button, which it does. So it's a good movement. You square the club face up and swinging through into balance, and just generally the swing looks more under control there, that way, rather than this swing having all that kind of movement up there now. And then you almost have to try and... I mean, that just looks...
There's a lot of late...
Yeah, there's a lot of movement going on there. Yeah. There's kind of impact. You can just about see the blur of the ball there down there. Look where your hands are.
Yeah.
Hands are back by your right leg.
Yeah.
Because you've had the club face got in so open, because to get your club that far back, you have to cup the wrist and open the club face. There's a physical... and your wrist can't bend that way, staying kind of straight. But if you turn this way, it increases the range of motion, yeah? Mm. So the face now is wide open. That's going to send the ball out to the right. So your way of recovering that is stopping the hands back here somewhere and just flicking the golf club.
Yeah.
And then you get a nice high pulley hooky one here.
Yeah.
Now then you try and get shaft lean, and then you hit the ball sideways right or shank it.
Yeah.
Then you try and turn your hips, and so you're almost trying to recover, and it's like a Rubik's Cube. You get one thing right, and you keep chasing your tail around the corner, left, right, all over the place, rather than actually stabilising the swing, getting the club to there and moving this way, getting to a good strike.
Like take it no further than that. If
I think that to me that's fine. Yeah, I mean, okay. You could potentially get a little bit wider, but I think you're okay there. If you came for less and you were that wide, I wouldn't say get wider. But because you're a little bit on the narrower side, then maybe we could just so it just stops you bringing back some way.
Yeah.
You'll always have a taste to want to keep creeping back in there, okay? It is wide enough, but it's probably on the slightly narrower side of the width spectrum, should we say. Yeah. But length of swing there for me is great. We're getting a good strike of the golf ball there, and we're able to move through nice and good. And as you said, you weren't losing yardage. If anything, you were gaining yardage because the strike and the quality of strike was so much better.
Yeah, that's mad. Like, yeah, it felt like it was 70% of what I was giving it.
Because if you think about it, I mean, I'm not a mathematician. That's probably around about from where that club started. If you actually think how far,
20-30% less.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're there, I mean, that's kind of one. So if that's probably halfway, give or take. So your club's going...
Yeah, I'm looking at the club. Yeah, when you're right, when you look at the hands, with the way further down.
I mean, that club is where that club had got to there. That's now you're about here and there with the club. So you've lost that much. That's another quarter. So yeah, maybe 25% less, which is why it feels to you about 70% swing. But the strike was far better. And again, if you're hitting the golf ball now with the club shaft lean slightly forward, the loft on the club is correct. If you're leaning the golf club back, you're adding loft, so the ball goes higher and less distance.
Yeah.
So more balls, so more club head speed, but the ball now going upwards with a higher launch angle. It's just going to go. Like if I threw a javelin against Steve Backley and his javelin had 90-degree launch angle and mine had 10, I'd beat him.
Yeah. And
he's one of the best javelin players, Jan Selesny or whatever. I know those javelins nowadays. Back in my day. Okay, so getting the correct launch angle off the club face is going to give you the right trajectory.
Yeah.
You want to try and maximise distance, but with less effort and less energy, and in some ways less stress on your back. I mean, from a back perspective, that to me looks a little bit like, I mean, there's almost a bit of lean this way, kind of leaning on your back, and that's not going to do any good to your body. So at least this way, that's a bit more kind of neutral with your spine, yeah?
Yeah. it looks healthier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Definitely.
Okay, mate.